This is Rachel Cobain, a Foo Fighters' second movie. Okay, there's this food that somebody I know used to make it, and it's pretty damn good. You take cucumbers and slice them, and put you gotta slice a lot, like 3 or 4 cucumbers, 3 or 4. Just slice them, and you have to peel them real quick with a thing called a pear peeler, or like a what they call it, impeached pear peeler for like $1 at the dollar store, like a little knife, and you just slide it over and peel them. Pretty good. It doesn't have to be perfect, just pretty good. Impeachment pear peeler, and from the grocery store anywhere, and you slice them real quick, like 4 whole ones. But yeah, cucumbers kind of expensive in Ohio, and then slice them kind of thin, a quarter of an inch, and then put like a cup of water. You don't have to measure it. That's the point. You don't really have to measure it. But yeah, dilution and too much is too much. Yeah, but put like a cup of water straight out of the tap, the sink or whatever. Put a cup of water, and then put like a full cup of white vinegar. Don't use apple cider vinegar. Use white vinegar, and then cut some onions. They can't be those purple Vidalian onions. Don't use those. Use straight up white onions. It used to be they'd make jokes when you're peeling them. You'd cry because you're getting married and have a wedding or something, and being a woman and cook. But yeah, slice them suckers so they're. Or you could But yeah, slice those onions, and you have to slice like an onion and a half. A cup of white vinegar. It can't be apple cider vinegar, yellow stuff. You have to use white cider vinegar and water, and put them all like in a bowl, or a bowl or whatever, microwave dish or whatever, portable food container, and put it in the fridge raw like that for overnight, and slice up a lot of those onions. You know what I'm saying? Slice them. Peel like an onion and a half, 4 cucumbers. With the skin off the cucumbers, and then a cup of water and a cup of white vinegar, and put them in a dish. And you do not, like strawberry shortcake, have to put a lid on it. You don't have to. And put that in the fridge overnight, and take it out the next day. And it is so good. I mean, some people might not like it, but some people might. I mean, I love it, and a lot of people used to, but some people these days, they might be used to, ramen noodles or whatever their mom's cooking, not used to it. But because the vinegar and those onions and the water soak like strawberry shortcake with those onions into the cucumbers, and it's like making your own pickle factory right there in the bowl. You know what I'm saying? And don't put a lid on it. That just messes it up like strawberry shortcake. Just put it in the fridge overnight, and to bite those onions because they soften up in the water and they kind of dilute the flavor, because you don't want to eat and cry a raw onion. But they're just so good, and then those cucumbers absorb that vinegar and the onion taste, and it really is good just overnight, and you'll eat it up way quick. But it's kind of expensive. And then strawberry shortcake. I don't want to talk about that. Nobody likes strawberry shortcake, but yeah, you get fresh strawberries. Everybody knows that one. If you get fresh strawberries, slice them or whatever. Slice them like in half. Take off the green stalk, and get like a whole bowl, like in a big Tupperware dish. And then just cut them in half. Your strawberries in half. Everybody knows this. Cut your strawberries in half. Take off the green stem. Big bowl. You got to slice them suckers a lot. Put them in a big bowl, and then put a cup of sugar in them and no water. It just is like a cup of granulated sugar. Put them over all them strawberries, you guys, and put in the fridge overnight. And then in 24 hours, with no lid on them, you'll have a syrup. You know what I'm saying? Like that syrup in the fridge with those strawberries will turn to liquid, and it's like syrup. And then go to the store or whatever the next day and get those little yellow, they're like strawberry sponge cakes. And then you put it over them sponge cakes. You got strawberry shortcake, which I didn't like that crap. But you know what I'm saying? That's kind of good. But because you know how many strawberries you have to cook, and then you get that sponge cake. I'm not into that. I mean, some people may like it, but yeah, there's no water at all. You just maybe a little tiny bit of water, like maybe 4 teaspoons. But yeah, that whole cup of sugar, which doesn't even sound possible, but it does. That whole cup and a half, a measuring cup of granulated sugar on top of all those strawberries with no lid in the fridge in 24 hours will turn to liquid. And you get like an inch and a half of liquid out of that whole cup and a half of granulated sugar. That's the weird part. And it just sits in the fridge, and I don't know. The fridge is like what, 35, 40 degrees, and it just turns to an inch and a half of liquid. And it's like syrup, so sweet to drink. But you got to cut all them strawberries and pour the stuff in there, and it's just crazy. But yeah, it's pretty good for that inch and a half of a liquid, and you got the beaded strawberry, little seeds in it. It's kind of good, but I only get an inch and a half, but it's hard to believe, but yeah. And then, yeah, what else is my other tip? Oh, yeah, might as well have cut it. Yeah, I didn't want to give this away because I think it's like one of those government Jesus secrets that probably everyone will kill me, like everyone. But a friend of mine told me this cooking secret, and I'll probably get killed. It's like a religion I probably shouldn't talk about. It's one of those things you just probably shouldn't talk about. And I'd be surrounded, but what's new. But yeah, yeah, everybody gonna kill me. But yeah, unless they already know I'm just not supposed to say it out loud. But fuck them, and I break the ice and just say it out loud. But all those tortilla shells or soft shell tortillas that they sell in Dollar Generals and stuff. They're pretty nasty because they're just a white tortilla shell for like 30 of them for like $3. You don't know what to do with them. Well, besides make homemade tacos, well, take your taco meat and put them in that shell. With your El Paso powder sauce, and put them in that taco shell, and put it in it. Take a skillet full of grease, Crisco, vegetable grease or whatever, and with your meat in that tortilla shell, and drop it into that grease, that hot grease. You're supposed to use a round chuck beef. Don't use the round. Don't use the chuck because the round is pure and don't have no fat. If you use chuck, it could snack back over a pot, but it's better to use the round beef or the round what's it called, hamburger in the roll round, because it's got no grease and it won't. I've heard it doesn't sound crackle, but I've never really tried it. But the round expensive, but if you use that and first you cook the ground beef. You know what I'm saying? You cook the round beef, brown it in the skillet, drain the grease, and then put it in that shell and drop it in another pan, a clean pan, with new hot grease or vegetable oil. Drop it in there and let it cook for like a minute and a half, and it cooks that tortilla shell that are so plain and so soft taco-ish, Taco Bell, and drop it in there for a minute and a half with the meat already browned and skilleted. That means browned, it means cooked in another skillet, with your El Paso taco sauce in that shell. And I mean, you won't go wrong. And you put your cheese and stuff in it. It's the bomb. Diddy bomb. That's what I'm saying. Every Mexican restaurant in China in the world and Taco Bell gonna come kill me. It's one of those really secrets you're not supposed to talk about. All those $5 soft shell tacos, gonna come kill me. But yeah, fuck up, man. But yeah, it's the bomb, diddy bomb. But you have to brown the hamburger. It means fry it in a skillet with your El Paso powder sauce. Drain the grease and then put in that tortilla shell and put it in a new skillet with new grease just for a minute and a half, and it fries that shell. And oh my god, it's better than an elephant ear or whatever at the fair. Oh yeah, I was gonna tell you that secret too. I miss my cucumber onion stuff. That stuff's so good. But anyway, back in the day, one of my dad's friends told me, somebody in my family told me, back in the 80s and 90s, you could go get biscuits from the refrigerator section at the grocery stores, and they didn't have the butter in them. If you can find them, get them. But take those. If you can find the butter ones, it's awful. You can't use the butter ones. But if you can find unbuttered, what they call it, those biscuit rolls, the biscuits you get in the fridge section at the grocery stores. Get the unbuttered if you can find it, but they haven't had those in a long time. But they still have them, but I just don't live in a grocery store, permanently. But anyway, take those and take your biscuit and take 2 or 3 pieces, break it in little pieces, like 2 or 3 pieces. And this is quick. I mean, you're doing it, this is quick. You have to move, you know what I'm saying? Like a roll, yeah. But have a bowl right next to you of what they call it, a powdered sugar. It's the fair secrets of the funnel cakes. The funnel cakes. It's making a funnel cake from the fair, but it's hard to find the ones without the butter in them because you can't use the butter ones, they're nasty. But anyway, have a powdered sugar bowl right next to you, because if it's not right next to you, you can't go back later and fix it. But you take your biscuit, there's like 10 biscuits in a roll. Break your biscuit in like 2 or 3 pieces, smaller pieces from the one biscuit, the single piece of biscuit. Break it off in like 2 pieces and get a deep fryer or skillet filled with hot grease on the stove, or a deep fryer, and drop them in there for 30-40 seconds. And they're like one of those little toys that our generation used to have, where they expand, and it'll expand in like 60 seconds in that hot grease. I mean, like for real, it'll get big and crispy golden brown. And you got to have some hot tongs. You can't wait later because it's going to mess up the whole funnel cake fair process. But you have those hot tongs, and like within 60 seconds, it will turn golden brown. And if you make a whole biscuit, it's so big it'll be raw in the middle because it'll burn on the outside. It's got to be the biscuit cut into threes. You know what I'm saying? Where you rip it with your finger, and then have those hot tongs because you only have 60 seconds until it gets golden brown and it gets bigger. And take your tongs and pull it out, and then roll it in that powdered sugar, and they're so good. I mean, it's a funnel cake, a mystery from the fair. That's how they make them. And you, because if you don't roll it in the grease immediately or in the powdered sugar immediately, the grease on the biscuit that you're frying in a minute and a half that turn golden brown, they won't. The powdered sugar won't stick to them. You know what I'm saying? You can't really dip them in later. It just ruins it. You have to have it sitting right next to you within 60 seconds, and as soon as you take those tongs, roll in that powdered sugar, and you have to immediately, and it won't stick later. And that's a funnel cake, a secret from the fair. If you've ever been able to go to a fair since 18. And for, lemon shake-up, man. Yeah, exactly. But, yeah. What else was got? Or another recipe I was got. Yeah, they're coming to kill me right now. Every Taco Bell in America coming to kill me for their religious secret. Yeah, man. I don't know, a friend of mine told me, yeah. But, yeah. What was my other tip I was going to tell you? I'll think of it later. Bye.